Coming up this week, another name for wannabe candidates for the federal Conservatives. Meanwhile, the PPC are looking for federal candidates for Abbotsford. A major First Nations land treaty with the city of Mission. And Alex?
And in sports, Trinity Western honors Black student athletes.
And Cari, what about the weather? What does it look like for Groundhog Day?
If I was a groundhog in the Fraser Valley, Don, I would actually just stay in bed.
All that's coming up this week. The federal election will be sometime in 2025, whenever that is, and that's anybody's guess. We have to wait until the federal Liberals choose a new leader to replace PM Justin Trudeau. With the Conservatives, potential candidates are in the process of making their bids. Sukhman Singh Gill is a local farmer, and he wants the CPC nomination for the riding of Abbotsford South Langley. And from a media statement, quote, "I want to focus on agriculture and farming, on public safety and stricter laws, on making home ownership more affordable, as well as dealing with drug use in parks and streamlining efforts to get foreign-trained doctors, nurses, and other skilled people recognized and working in Canada." Now, the political stories around the upcoming federal election, whenever that will be, have pretty much focused on the Conservatives, the Liberals, the NDP, and on the outside, the Green Party. Now, the PPC, the People's Party of Canada, have already announced a Chilliwack Hope candidate, with others in the Fraser Valley to be announced in the coming weeks. Now, that includes the ridings of Abbotsford, Mission, Matsqui, Fraser Canyon, and Langley Aldergrove. The Lackamel Matsqui Samath Society celebrated a long-awaited return of land and their shared territories in the city of Mission, located adjacent to the Fraser River Heritage Park and the grounds of the former St. Mary's Residential School. Now, the land transfer, which was finalized last week, is the agreement called Together We Paddle. That was signed in 2021 by LMS, as well as the province of BC and the city of Mission. Last Friday morning, Abbey police attempted to stop a vehicle in the Mission area for a violation. The driver of the suspect vehicle, a Mustang, didn't comply and fled the attempted traffic stop. Shortly after, the suspect vehicle traveled southbound in the northbound lanes of Highway 11 and collided head-on with a northbound vehicle. The driver of the civilian vehicle was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect, a 32-year-old man, was arrested at the scene, transported to hospital. He too has non-life-threatening injuries. Abbey police continue to release 2024 numbers, and a disturbing fact that Abbey officers responded to over 1,300 cases of intimate partner violence in the community. The IPVU unit was established to investigate the highest risk domestic violence cases. The multi-agency team includes Abbey police and detectives, community stakeholders, and specialized victim service workers. Now, the unit managed 486 of those cases in 2024, and in just the first 26 days of January, Abbey PD officers have removed 107 impaired drivers from the roads. That's a big increase from the 43 removed during the same period last year in 2024. Mission Fire, on a quest to ensure that every home in Mission has a working smoke alarm. Over 1,100 smoke alarms will be given away as part of this campaign. The alarms were provided to the City of Mission free of charge as part of a collaboration with the Office of the Fire Commissioner and BC Injury Research and Prevention Unit, aimed at reducing fire-related injuries and fatalities in British Columbia. Coming up, a busy slate for both TWU and UFV. Alex will have more in sports.
Hey Abbotsford, let's talk some sports. Starting with football, the Abbotsford Falcons annual general meeting is this Saturday at noon at the Legacy Banquet Room on Trethiwi. There will be a draw for one free registration for spring flag as well as one free registration for fall tackle. You do have to be there in order to be eligible to win. Over to college, where TWU Spartans congratulate Emmanuel Dan Odokiene, who is a recipient of the 2025 Athletes on Track bursary. U Sports, in partnership with Black North Initiative and Sharad Cuz LLP, announced the recipients of the 2025 Athletes on Track bursary. In the program's third year of operation, 8 outstanding Black student athletes within the U Sports have been selected to receive this prestigious award. The bursary program, supported by BNI and generous contributions from Scotia Wealth Management, Roots, Wheaton Precious Metals, and Canada Basketball, provides a $5,000 award of the 8 student athletes. And now over to rugby, more history. As you may know, the Rugby Sevens tournament is going on right now, and the Spartans showed how we scrum in Abbotsford, putting up a 4-1 record in Edmonton for a program best second overall. They did beat Calgary and Alberta today in order to complete a historic weekend, and beating any team from Alberta on the way just adds a little sweetness to every win. And speaking of, UFV had their way with MacEwan University over the weekend. I was fortunate enough to be in attendance at the Friday games, and my goodness, the women's team took a 66-39 win, and men's 104-61. Maddie Gobet took second place in UFV's all-time scoring list on the Friday game, as well as Dario Lopez breaking 1,000 career points. And then on Saturday, both teams kept dishing it out to the Griffins. Shout out to Jake Williamson, who went 7 from 10 from the three-point range on Saturday, as the men's team closed out a sweep at the UFV Athletic Center. With the wins, the women's team moves to 11-5 on the season, and the men's to 7-9 for a second and fifth place standing in the Pacific Division, respectively. The Cascades are now on the road for a pair of games in Prince George against UNBC on January 31st and February 1st. With the women's team, Maddie Gobet scored 17 first-half points on Saturday as the UFV Cascades finished off a 66-39 win over the MacEwan Griffins at the UFV Athletic Center. Now over to volleyball on the men's side, and despite 3 sets being decided by just 2 points, the UFV Cascades dropped a 4-set decision to the Brandon University Bobcats on Saturday in Manitoba. The Cascades fall to 6-10 with the result, while Brandon improves to 6-8 with the win. The Cascades now have the week off before they take on the Trinity Western Spartans on February 6th and 7th in a home-and-home matchup. The women's team dropped a 5-set contest to Brandon as well. With the result, the Cascades dropped to 12-2 on the season, while Brandon moves to 2-12. The Cascades continue their road swing next week with a pair of matches against the Regina Cougars on the 31st and February 1st. Both matches can be seen live on Canada West TV. Now, the City of Abbotsford, in partnership with the Government of Canada and the Province of BC, announced that construction is starting on an energy-efficient upgrades at Abbotsford Recreation Centre as part of the Heat Recovery and Optimization Project. This initiative aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while enhancing air quality, sustainability, and patron experience. Now in hockey, the Abbotsford Canucks have put a nice little streak together, 8 games in a row won since January 10th. On the 29th, they wrap up their state's trip against Coachella Valley Firebirds before returning home on January 31st against the Calgary Wranglers. And the Abbotsford Pilots have clinched their playoff spots, sitting third in the conference between Ridge Meadows and Chilliwack. They also play on the 31st in the MSA Arena against Surrey. That's your Abby TV Sports. I'll see you at the game. Coming up, Cari with the weather.
Abby TV weekend weather. Cari, what will Groundhog Day really be like?
Well, Dawn, it's like you don't have enough friends and you need to have some groundhogs in your life. So let's talk about the weather. Friday, there's an 80% chance of precipitation with it starting to cool off over Saturday, which means there's going to be some slushy snow in with that rain. So there might be about 1 centimeter of snow during the day on Saturday and 10 centimeters they're calling for on Saturday night. Not fun. But Sunday, things will be clearing up again. There might be a few flurries throughout the day as the clouds start to go away. Monday, on the other hand, it's going to get even clearer. Maybe slight chance of some flurries, but it's going to be cold. Temperatures are going to drop below 6 degrees at night. Might even feel like minus 13. So that is very chilly. And it's going to be similar for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the rest of the week. Here's a fun fact for you that's not about groundhogs. The snow is actually not white. It's clear. It appears white because of the sun reflecting off the crystals, which makes me then wonder, why is snow white at night? Don't know everything. Back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, you can always send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. I'm Don Lehn.